Two heavily armed students walked into Columbine High in Jefferson County and opened fire. And afterward, those two teenagers killed themselves. It's believed 15 people are dead, including the young gunman. More than 20 people are wounded, most of them students. Some of them still hospitalized in critical condition this evening with multiple gunshot wounds. The governor has declared it a disaster area.
And then the idea is to try to warm up to the job that you have to do. First thing is to get the light properly adjusted. I mean, get the glasses adjusted for the light conditions that you come up against. Every time you shoot, they're a little bit different. Before you lift the gun, you get into the ready position like this. Then you let all of your air out. You take a full breath. You let half of it out, and you let take in a quarter. Sometimes I will come here for 2 hours and not fire any shots, just hold the gun like this. Just hold it as steady as I can, steady, steady, steady as I possibly can hold it, concentrating on all the muscles in my arm and my body to hold it as steady as I possibly can. And then finally, when I get so fatigued that it starts really moving, I set it down.
Welcome to the Great Western Show. We just want you to know how glad we are that you're here. You're fantastic. Enjoy the show.
The United States Constitution's Second Amendment allows us to own firearms. The right to keep and bear arms is incredibly important to many, many, many Americans.
Sign up with the NRA today. If you're already a member, renew your membership or sign up a friend and we'll get you in the gun show for free.
And then it's got a positive cam lock. See that? Going anywhere.
You know, after you shoot guns, a gun begins to take on a kind of a elegance and a beauty that, well, you would just have to be into firearms to kind of understand that. Just the workmanship that can go into these guns. This gun, for instance, is a $1,500 firearm. I mean, it's a precision instrument, basically. The engineering that has gone into it, the fact that it can be shot tens of thousands of times and shoot just as accurately on the 20,000th time as it did the first time, and the type of engineering, modern engineering that's gone into it, it becomes a thing of beauty. No question about it.
Car on a playground, a suburban high school turned into a killing field. America has seen a spate of school shootings. Nothing matches the horror of events at Columbine High. Students poured out of their school hands up, under armed protection. Escapees from a rampage within. Two 18-year-olds with guns and bombs intent on murder.
It's a .380 cartridge, which is 9mm short. Real handy, good personal defense, close range personal defense round.
How much does a clip hold?
Clip in that is 7, I believe.
I like it. Good knockdown power, or?
Up close and personal with the right kind of bullets, yes.
Okay. All right.
A lot of police officers in this country carry a .380 as a backup. Lots and lots of them.
Okay. I'll take it.
Sounds good.
What happened in Colorado, that terrible, terrible tragedy in Columbine School in Colorado, the young people who committed that crime had committed 20 felonies before they pulled the trigger. Before they pulled the trigger. The gun laws, 20 gun laws they violated before they shot anyone. So let's pass some more laws so they can break 22 or 25 laws before they kill somebody. I don't care about breaking useless laws. I care about keeping kids alive. And as long as we try to protect our children with laws that don't work, our children are going to die by nutcases who do these horrible things.
People are getting shot all around me. There's one boy at a table right next to us, and there was a guy at a table right next to us, next to me and her, and they just shot him.
And then they just started coming in the library and opening fire and shooting out bombs.
The Commons is right below, and you just feel it shake, and the plastic would fall, and the books would fall, and they came in here and they shot some, and then they went back out, and
people are getting shot all around me.
Those kids had been planning for days, weeks, because of all the bombs that they had, homemade bombs that they had made, the ammunition that they had acquired, and the weaponry that they had acquired from their families and others. And they went in there knowing that this was going to be the end. They went in there knowing that they were going to take a bunch of people out and then kill themselves. And that's the type of individual that is looking for strictly self-gratification and wanting history to remember them in that way. Why? I certainly don't know.
So first, we need reasonable and sensible gun laws. Second, we need to make every place where young children gather a safe haven.
Come on, folks. Gray Davis is a traitor to the citizens of California. Come and sign a petition to get rid of him. He's a Clinton clone. They all work for the UN. They're all traitors. Gray Davis and Bill Clinton all are part of the UN. Traitors.
As a Vietnam veteran, I can say without reservation, we have to remove assault weapons from our streets. The killing power is enormous. It has no place in a civilized society.
He's a threat to the American California family like Clinton is. Very destructive people.
Governor Davis has basically signed a lot of legislation in the past year or two that has significantly cut back on the rights of firearm owners and put a lot of needless restrictions on them as well.
Enough is enough. There isn't an 8-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old that deserves to rest in an intensive care unit because somebody walks into their classroom. And we must stop this.
We are already offering courses in schools that promote conflict resolution, and we have to find ways in which people can act out their anger in ways that don't kill and savage young people and defenseless adults.
I mean, if you look at the statistics, Australia prohibited firearms and their crime rate tripled. Washington, D.C., where it's illegal to own a handgun, their crime rate is just amazing. So I think what you have to look at is the correlation between firearms ownership and crime. And in America, that where there are fewer firearms, there is more crime.
All right, shooters, to the line. Ready on the right, ready on the left. The firing line is ready. Fire!
And one of the things you want to do, whether you get a gun from anybody, pick up from anybody, doesn't make any difference who it is. First thing you want to do is always open the action and make sure that the weapon is clear. Make sure there's no rounds in it. It doesn't matter who you take it from or where you pick it up from. You want to make sure that the weapon is clear. Once it's clear, then you can check it for function. You can, again, make sure that it works like it should in all 6 cylinders, and it does. Make sure it works single action in all 6 cylinders, and it does. And make sure that it spins freely, and it does. So the weapon is ready to go now. And that's all there is to it. I think the thing is most people do not understand weapons, and they're afraid of them. We've become an urban society rather than a rural society, and because of that we have more people living in cities, more people with less chance to go out and enjoy the recreational sport of shooting and or hunting, and consequently they don't have a knowledge of the gun, therefore they're afraid of it. And most people have a tendency to be that way. First time you drive a car, you're a little bit apprehensive, you know, and until they learn the parts of the gun and how it functions and so forth, people have a tendency to be a little afraid of something they don't know about. And it makes it a little tougher on the people living in a desert community like we do, which is 200 miles away from Los Angeles. You're good, okay. One of the hardest things to do is when you grab a gun, the first thing you do is automatically your finger tries to go into the trigger. But try to force yourself to remember to keep the finger outside the trigger guard until you're actually ready to fire it. That way you'll never accidentally have a discharge that you don't want. Okay, empty, empty, good. All right, about all 3 of them, good. All right, empty, 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 and empty. All right, good. So, with the magazine in, it holds 10 rounds. You must pull the trigger each and every time in order for it to expend a round. If you pull it back, it'll fire 1 round and that's all. It'll recycle, but it will not fire another till you release the trigger. That's semi-auto. Full auto would be the trigger all the way to the rear, and it continues to fire and chamber and unload and reload by itself, as long as you hold the trigger back until there's no more rounds in the magazine. Some fully automatics up to 700 rounds a minute, you know, some even more. Consequently, that's a lot of rounds to put out there, and normally by the time you get through the 3rd round, it's all spray and pray. You're putting a lot of lead in the air, spraying the whole area, just hoping you hit something, and that's, to me, not sensible. To me, marksmanship is the most important thing. You must learn to make the weapon do what you want it to do. Again, it's a piece of machinery. It's a tool. By itself, it will not jump off this counter and run down the hallway shooting anybody. It takes some nut to hold it. It will not do it by itself.
Personally, have not been faced with one of the new type automatics. There's a certain amount of power that is seen in the eyes of some of these people who have used fully automatic weapons. It's like I'm all powerful. I've got a weapon in my hands that can basically cause total destruction, and it does, as you've seen in a lot of the school shootings and business shootings and so forth here in the United States in recent months, and particularly recent years. They walk into a place knowing the amount of damage that they can do. They can, they can kill multiples of people, as opposed to going in and shooting one person that might be the cause of their problem, or at least they think the cause of their problem. Or in the case of the school students, it's basically wanting the attention. They want to go down in history as someone that can be remembered for killing 15 people or 7 people or whatever. What causes these people to do that? I certainly don't have those answers. I've heard a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists try to explain what causes these people to do these things, but the answers that they have given certainly have not satisfied me. I just think it's something that comes over the individual that gives them great power, the feeling of great power. And power is a tremendous thing in the hands of someone who can't handle it.
Actually, it's better to start young kids starting to learn about guns when they're young, so that they know if they do find one not to mess with it.
They're fun to shoot. You get a kick out of it, and like today, you can miss school.
You know, another argument I've heard by the gun control lobby is that the new modern weapon, semi-automatic, et cetera, is one of the reasons for all the crime. Well, this is 1855, where you used to cock it and pull the trigger. As a matter of fact, Stonewall Jackson carried a gun just like this in the Civil War. And, you know, of course, today, the modern guns, you just pull the trigger and go real fast, like, oh, gee whiz. This one does it too, doesn't it? 1855. Fast you can pull the trigger. Of course, it's not semi-automatic. You know, that's something brand new. Like this is semi-automatic Mauser pistol model 1896. Of course, you know, we got to worry about these new ones with their high-capacity detachable magazines. So, a new idea, right? 1896 semi-automatic detachable magazine, high capacity. The guns haven't changed. The people have changed. In 1896, this machine pistol, as it was called by some people, didn't go into schoolyards, didn't go into office buildings, didn't commit crimes. But now, the new ones, I guess, got something called legs where they walk around and do things. Its people have changed, not the guns. 1896, 1865, or 1855, just as fast, just as deadly, and just as quick as anything made today.
Doing good. Okay.
My shells are pretty old.
Well, looks like they're all in there, kiddo.
Thank you.
Got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 down total. And you were already down 3. That means you're only down 11, which is 89.
All
Second
right.
group. Very good. 89. All right.
Thank you.
Good job.
I haven't done it so dang long.
You know, there's an old saying among guys that do this type of thing. They'll say, look, you don't have to ask me before you take a look at my wife, but if you're going to pick up my gun, you got to ask me first. So, yeah, you know, in a way, it's kind of a joke, really, but I think it's instinctively a male thing. I know that probably sounds like a racist remark, but I also teach young boys and girls to shoot in a 4-H program, and when you just see the way the boys, their eyes light up, and the fact that they're going to shoot a gun, it's something that you don't really see in the girls. They enjoy it, and a lot of times, believe it or not, girls end up being better at it than guys are for some reason or other. They just seem to be more patient. Their emotions run more steady, and they more quickly at a younger age can become a better shooter than a male usually. But really, it's a male-dominated thing. It just, I feel like it's something that's just almost kind of genetic, actually, the affinity that a male has for a gun because of what it does.
Well, not too bad.
You know, you got him dead.
I got him dead on the first shot.
This is a hollow point, okay? This one will really knock the individual down. This one, when it goes into the body, it'll just bloom like a mushroom.
This is called a ball tip, and it does not spread apart when it goes into whatever it's going into.
Okay, this one will develop into a mushroom. Okay, this will really knock them down.
Apart.
Right. So these are the ones I carry. I don't use this for target. These are I save this one when I really need them.
Right. Only need a few of those.
Right.
Need a lot of these.
Make sure that let me, please. Absolutely. There you go.
Why you decided to buy one?
Why did I decide to buy one? well, for self-protection, you know, self-defense, safety, security. You know, I have several, you know, I had a bad experience at one time. I was walking down the, down Forester Road and walking with my dogs, and it was about 6 o'clock in the evening. And my husband has always encouraged me to get a gun. And I decided, you know, I've always been afraid of guns. And that night, when I was walking my dogs, this car stopped alongside of the road, and there was 4 men in that car, and they had Louisiana plates. So next thing you know is one of them gets out of the car. Car stops and they get out, and guy number 2 gets out too. And I says, oh my God, this is when I really needed little mister.
Because Fluffy wasn't going to do anything.
Exactly. and anyway, he, you know, I let the dogs loose, and they got back in their car, but I tell you, I got home and I was ready.
I've had my concealed weapon permit for about 18 years. And as we said, our friends don't know it.
Right.
You know, just our family does. And 2 of our daughters carry weapons. So it's kind of a part of our life.
My mom got it after most of the kids were out of the house, but at one point in time, my father got shot, and that prompted her to be protected because he was not. And so it's one of the reasons she carries it, and we've all learned how to use them and have them, and just a little bit self-defense.
When I get on an airline and go visit my kids in Idaho, I don't have it with me, and I just feel like I'm sort of naked. and I've never used it at all. Never even pulled it out. But it's just a funny feeling that you're not all there. So we refer to ours as the peace in our family. So I don't know what you call yours.
You know, I guess the peace too, Patty. I cannot say, you know, or the mister, you know. Yeah. That's great. You did great, Dana. You know you knocked him over.
Very good.
He's a goner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
At this moment, how could this innocent man's life be saved? By gun bans? Registration and licensing? By politicians? By police? By the media? No, the only thing that could save this man is a good old God-given right put in black and white by the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. The right to keep and bear arms.
It's 10 in the magazine, 1 in the pipe.
Uh-huh. Gunshot.
It's a bottleneck cartridge.
Yeah.
And put the right kind of ammo in there, it's a good choice.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh. Thank you. At least 2 million times a year, a firearm is used to thwart a criminal from committing a crime, to stop a crime in progress, and less than 1% of those times is the gun even fired. It's simply somebody tries to rob you, and you have a gun available, you show it, and they head for the hills. Well, criminals are cowards. A criminal is a coward, and basically it's like home burglars. If you leave your lights on and you've got a dog, they go to your next door neighbor where they don't have lights on and a dog. They don't want to have any type of confrontation. And so criminals pick and choose and learn, just like wolves in the wild, pick and choose the weakest of the prey available. And they don't want confrontation. And if you, being armed, your demeanor is even changed a little bit, because you're more confident. And they don't go after the confident people. They go after somebody who looks weaker.
I think the most graphic example of that is in 1988, the state of Florida passed what is called a right to carry law. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you don't have a criminal record, if you wish to carry a firearm, you must be issued a license to carry a concealed firearm. You may have read a few years ago about all the tourists being robbed in Florida. What was happening is the rental cars from the airport had a sticker on them that was recognizable. And the bandits were picking on people driving those cars because they knew that the only people were sure they didn't have a gun on them was someone who just got off an airplane. To stop that, they had to take those stickers off of those cars at the airport so that you could not distinguish between an airport rental and any other car on the road. But you see, the criminal, being a coward, was looking for someone that they were certain could not defend themselves. And European tourists were one of the major targets of these criminals because they were sure that a European tourist was not armed.
This is a Schutzen rifle. It shoots cartridges with cast lead bullets. It's a gun that was used very extensively right around the turn of the century. This is a military musket. It shoots black powder, and of course this was a gun that was used in the Civil War and for a while after that. This is a flintlock rifle. This with double set triggers. It's a target rifle actually. 40 caliber, shoots a round ball. And this is another flintlock rifle. This would be your typical hunting rifle that you would see in the United States to shoot during the black powder season. And this is a 50 caliber rifle. It shoots a round ball as well.
You're not afraid for accidents?
Not really. I mean, it just takes a little bit of care and common sense, and a gun is probably safer really than a sharp kitchen knife, you know. I mean, I think we've had more accidents around here with knives than we've never had a firearm related accident. There's been a lot of crime, you know, in the last 5-6 years in this area. It's been on the increase, actually. I don't keep a gun under my pillow like a lot of guys do, or up next to my bed. But yeah, if I had a gun that was loaded, and I would use it. I would not hesitate if my life was in danger, believe me, or if I had an intruder inside my home in the middle of the night, I would definitely pull the trigger.
Well, since the advent of the fully automatic weapon that we've seen in this country and the tremendous violence that comes as a result of that, we've seen a lot of changes in the way that people have had to deal with the problems. It's no longer a case of an individual going in and taking a pot shot at one person. It's now walking in and spraying everybody in the building. And those type of things have caused a violent activity in the country We have never seen, probably the closest thing to it would have been Al Capone in the 1920s and 30s during the old Prohibition days. But that was a case generally of one gang warring against another. In this situation where we're living through today, it's in many cases a totally innocent appearing individual coming in, or individuals walking into a location and killing everybody or attempting to kill everybody in sight. And it doesn't appear to have rhyme nor reason.
You know, here's another view on it. They tried alcohol control in the 1930s in the United States to where it was illegal to have alcohol anymore. And it started the biggest crime wave in the history of the United States. They couldn't stop people from getting alcohol anywhere in this country. They cannot stop people today. They can't stop inmates in federal penitentiaries, federal prisons, from getting heroin into their cell rooms, okay, into their cells. You cannot legislate the activity of a population. It's not possible. What they want to do and what they want to get, they will get, one way or another. Criminals, doesn't matter what law you pass. If a criminal has to have a gun sent to him from the Middle East through some way or another, he will get whatever gun he wants. They can't stop anything by laws because you can't legislate human nature. Human nature was that people seek out alcohol, and they got the alcohol that they wanted.
Kind of whip that horse together. Oh, buddy.
Gotcha.
Saturday morning. No, I won't be here for any. No, it doesn't matter. I will not be here. I will be out deer hunting. That's the start of the season, and I don't miss that. Can't be an emergency. I don't hear that. Nope, I'll be out deer hunting. Okay, take care of yourself. See you later. Bye.
If you think your kids aren't old enough to find your handgun, please think again.
Yeah, the idea of guns being a danger in the household is unheard of in U.S. history. I mean, every household that you could go into would have a firearm either hanging over the mantle or leaned up against the front door and back door too, just for the mere fact that if dinner came walking by the backyard, Junior would grab the gun and shoot a deer.
Features here that I just really think of. First, feel the weight.
It's light.
It's extremely light. You can put that in your purse, and you're not going to walk at a 45-degree angle.
day in uniform, I got away from carrying a purse. Everything went in my back pockets.
But this is absolutely ingenious. Put this little key in here.
Yeah.
And you twist this thing, and now that gun cannot be fired. Especially if you got young people.
Yeah.
This
Her brother shot himself when he was 3 with a .38 service revolver.
Are those interchangeable, the key from one gun to another?
Yes.
So if you have one that has that feature, it can be used on another weapon.
Right, right.
I'll just pull it out this one like this. And I feel a lot more comfortable with the semi. It's easy to pop in and out, so I like it. Plus it's loaded. So there's a bullet in there, so. And
that's right.
I prefer this over a revolver. Definitely prefer it over a revolver. I feel I'll safer having more rounds than 5.
She's a police officer.
Yes, it's a lot easier to.
We all trained with it. We've all shot it a lot. So we're so comfortable with it. It's part of us.
Yeah.
And so we're not scared of them. We know what they will do. We will know how they'll protect us. Very much so.
And it's
but
part of your nature to be careful with them.
absolutely. Definitely. And I think that's why a lot of people, my feeling is a lot of people who don't want or who want gun control are so scared of them they have no clue about them. When you do your concealed weapons permit, when we do our officer training, we have the time and the training and the experience behind it. The hunters have the time and experience behind it, so it's a part of you. You don't think twice about it.
It's not like you're just picking it up. And
Right.
You guys have to qualify every year, and you have every 2 years, and you have to hit what you're aiming for. And you have to qualify.
4-hour class.
I took the class with Steve Rebick, and I remember I was so deathly. I mean, up to that point, I didn't even know how to handle a gun. I was so scared, and I walked in there, and what really caught my attention was when he said, people here think that guns kill. Guns do not kill. It's people that kill.
That's right.
It's true.
That's right.
What is this? Hey, outside!
If you think you can hide your handgun from your kid,
Okay, we're coming in.
please think again.
I think that we have to have gun control in this country to be able to offset some of the problems that we're seeing now. It's the type of laws that we have to be careful with. If you go too far, then people are going to hide weapons. They're still going to have access to them for years to come. I think eventually we will see a reduction in these kinds of incidences that are occurring today all around this country.
That these acts of violence are not just despicable manifestations of bias and bigotry. They strike at the very heart of what it means to be an American. And they are the very antithesis of the values we cherish as a people.
Gray Davis is extremely anti-gun, and he's your governor. And anything that he does is anti-gun. And my suggestion is you watch it real close. Make sure that if you can have any influence on him at all, get him to tone it down a little bit rather than pass a lot of laws. The biggest problem with passing more laws is the only ones that are going to abide by those are you and I. A criminal is a criminal because he won't obey the laws. So when you make another stupid law, the only ones it's going to affect is good people like us. And that doesn't make sense to me, and our legislators don't seem to understand that. We're no longer a rural society, we're an urban society. Consequently, a lot of people don't feel a need for a gun. They just think that if you could pick up all the guns, nobody would ever get hurt. Well, conceivably so, but if they ever got all the guns picked up, which you and I know is impossible, but say they did, what do you think they'd use next? Yeah, a knife or a club? Sure, they'd still get the job done if they wanted to get you done. So, again, they'd go back to the Stone Age, and they'd use rocks and clubs and so forth. So we're always going to have that problem because we're going to have differences of opinion. And as long as you have differences of opinion, you're going to have people that get mad and get upset and can't control themselves. So picking up guns is not the answer. But my suggestion is that you join one of the groups. There's Gun Owners of America, there's the NRA, there's the Second Amendment Foundation, there's the California Rifle and Pistol Association. These are just a few that I know offhand are in the forefront of fighting for your rights to preserve them. Now, I don't agree with all of their policies. I don't agree with everything the NRA says, but it's the best ball game in town.
Oh, anytime you have a new gun law come in, your sales jump. Actually, if it wasn't such a complete travesty on our freedom, I'd like to see a new gun law every month for business purposes, because I'd get rich. Because every time you pass a gun law, new gun law, everybody rushes in and buys a gun while they still can. And, you know, we passed the Brady Bill 5 years ago. And that's the one that requires a background check on all people buying guns. And it hasn't stopped crime. It hasn't slowed down violence. It's gotten worse.
Where'd you get it? Because it's just like this.
I think it's a smaller thread.
Smaller than this one.
I think it's the small thread. Because it's threaded about like that.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
12 gauge sabot, brass sabot.
Yeah.
That
That will do some damage.
That will make a bad guy wish he'd choose another profession. He'll regret bothering you the rest of his life, all 30 seconds of it.
Right. There won't be much left. Be a big hole going through the gent coming at you with that thing.
8 of them. This is, you know, the pistols are great for show. This is. If
That's
we get,
for business.
This is if we get a robbery.
Yeah.
Can I show you anything else?
Not right now. Thank you, sir.
I probably was shooting at 5, 6, 7, but I got my first gun. Dad gave me a 410 single shot shotgun at 9 years of age, and then I've progressed from there. We lived out in the country on a farm, and there was a lot of wild game that lived out in that area, mostly dove and quail and pheasant. And occasionally we might go out at night and shoot some ducks that were depredating the fields. And I don't hunt anything that I don't eat. If I hunt it and I kill it, I'm going to eat it.
Beautiful track out there. Look at this view. Nothing can move out there without you seeing.
Now you can follow this, you know, quite a ways that way.
Well, this one's going to come around and then hook up with that road. Remember we went through there? Remember we went this way? Well, that's real man's
right. Well, I was saying if you guys stayed on this, and then we jumped in this area.
Since 1963 to date, there's been 60 children or kids shot in schools. But during that same amount of time, from 1993 till now, there was 93 kids killed by airbags in cars. But you don't see them trying to outlaw airbags in cars.
I grew up, there was guns in the house all the time. There was never any problem of anybody grabbing a gun because from a small child, we knew what guns did, what they were capable of, and they were dangerous.
See something?
Yeah, I started out with a 12 gauge, old Browning 12 gauge, kicked like a son of a gun. That was my grandfather's. The bigger city people don't get out of the city. They don't know what's out here. And yet they have the biggest amount of votes. So
The kids living in the bigger cities, especially inner cities, could not even tell you what a cow is or a horse is, other than they've seen a picture of it. They've never seen one live, and most of them have no idea that hamburgers normally come from beef. And they think you just go down to the supermarket and buy hamburger. And they don't know where it comes from, and most of them don't seem to really care.
So, you know, the time has come to begin to say, look, what's more important? Protecting the right of somebody to take a bazooka and plink at a tin can or practice on a weapons range, or the ability of our children to go to daycare centers, be educated in schools that are safe.
Hi, how you doing? Here's your gun. The action's open, okay? Here's yours. You keep the action open, okay? Okay, Anita, here's your gun. And Andrew, here's your gun, okay? Here. Okay, what you do is you aim and it's going to move, but you just start squeezing the trigger, start squeezing it, let it move, and you squeeze and let it move and then let it go off, okay? And you'll be surprised how you won't have those wide shots so much if you do that. It's hard to do because the natural instinct is to try to get it right on the target and then pull it right when it's on there. You think what you're doing is pulling the trigger when the gun stops, but you're not, okay? What you're doing, when you do that, you don't see it, but it flips the gun a little bit, and it flips the shot out of the group. But if you squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it, then when the gun goes off, it's kind of a surprise to you, okay? And you don't know when it's going to go off. You don't make it go off, you let it go off, okay? There's a big difference there.
You know, we've got a cancer in our society, and that cancer is violence. And it's eating at the very fabric of our society. Now, when you try to cure cancer with a placebo, a sugar-coated pill, two very terrible things happen. One is the medicine doesn't work. But the really terrible thing is you stop looking for a cure. As long as we try to cure our violence and our crime with placebos such as gun control, good people, honest people, dedicated people who want to see an end to children being hurt and violence, stop looking for that cure because they've been convinced by people, some of them actually people who think they're doing good, that something's been done, and when nothing has been done, nothing stops the violence.
Go. Take your time now. You don't shoot so fast. Shoot, make every shot, really count, really concentrate on it. Get your arms and eyes in the same place every time. Okay? Pointed it to right there. Arms straight, remember? That's a boy. All right. Put another one in there. You got to shoot 10. Now remember, you get your arms in the same place every time. You got to hold them straight out. Straight out. All right? When you're pulling the trigger, you guys are getting it on the target, and you're getting it on the target, and when it's right where you want it, you're jerking the trigger. Like, that's what you're doing. You're jerking it.
This country was born on war. As we came to this country to settle it, it was wild, it was uncontrolled, and there was a tremendous amount of unknown. And that has kind of permeated through our history. As we've seen the Revolutionary War and the Civil War, both, the Civil War was the heaviest losses of American life that ever occurred. And then we had, that was brother against brother. And then we had World War I and World War II and Korea, Vietnam, and all the little ones that have occurred before that and after that. So we are kind of a warlike type people, always having to be ready to fight some kind of war.
All right. Let's take a look at these, you guys, okay? Okay. Your first one is 4.01 inches. You remember last week you couldn't even get it on the paper, remember that? And now you're on the paper, a major improvement over your shooting from last week, okay?
I don't think people in the future will give up their right to have hunting weapons and also protective type weapons. I think it's going to be a long time because you also have to worry about preparing for that next war.
1873. The Peacemaker.
Battered women service by contributing funds from benefits of skits that they perform. That's the Winchester Widows.
This is 1877, just 5 years later, and it's, guess what, double action.